Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to SATAC 2023. Today we have the 51st PVO versus GunGunGun, and I'm very excited to see how this all turns out. Welcome in. I hope that you are all having a good Saturday today on the 3rd of February 2024. Getting into the year properly now, and it's time for some extremely high quality DCS combat. We start, as we must, with the dice roll to figure out which map we're playing on first. So let's do it. Only the caucuses are on the table today, so we'll see what we end up with. 3, 2, 1, and number 4, which is Clear Winter Day, Tbilisi versus Sukhumi. Awesome. I'll send that off to the organizers and they will get the server set up for battle. How are you guys feeling? Are you all very excited for today's battle? We have the 51st PVO, which is a predominantly flanker-based aviation regiment. I don't think I can tell you about how excited I am to see them fight. They are the organizers of this event as well. So fingers crossed that they make a good showing of themselves. We also have GunGunGun, a relatively new team that has shown up and is going to show us what they're made of. Here we are for the 51st versus GunGunGun. Of course, we have to say thank you to the sponsors of SATAC, including Heat Blur, Eagle Dynamics, VKB, Magnitude 3, Deck Ironworks, Razbam, TacView, and Lot ATC. And the maps that we'll be playing on can vary from Syria, the Persian Gulf, the South Atlantic, Russia, and Georgia. Today we will be in Georgia in the environment of a cold winter's day. We'll see how that affects the performance of our aircraft. Asking someone in the chat to say heads or tails so that they can get to pick which side they start on. Doesn't really matter because they'll both get a chance. We'll give them ample opportunity to show us what they're made of. GunGunGun and 51st PVO are welcome to join the server when they're ready. I hope that you guys are all having a good day today. It's important to remind chat that SATAC itself is a apolitical organization. Whilst the organizers and participants may have their own political views, this organization and stream and competitive event exists above any kind of international conflict or opinions within the world. We are here to fly in DCS and see who's the best. It doesn't matter where you're from. It doesn't matter what you believe in. All that matters here is how you fly. And all that matters for me is being able to show you how they fly. So don't worry about me. It is all about the pilots today. Stinger has called heads, so we'll come over here and we will do a coin flip. Let's see. And 3, 2, 1. It is tails. That means GunGunGun gets to pick who gets the first position. GunGunGun calls first. Gets to pick starting side, red or blue. All right. So how are you guys going today? I hope you're all having a good day. I hope that your year has gotten off to a good start. It's an interesting time in the world. There's plenty going on. I know for me personally, it hasn't been too cold, which I'm not complaining about. Let's see if we can get GunGunGun into the servers. GunGunGun is a dogfighting team. Oh, I see, I see. They're quite new to the scene, so we're going to have to see what they bring to the table. In fact, I ask teams sometimes when they when they start, what they have to say about themselves, and GunGunGun has been fairly enigmatic, so we won't worry too much about them themselves. I think they want I think they would like to keep themselves subtle and hidden. Okay, let's make sure that GunGunGun has the server information. Interesting to see all this again, coming back to DCS after a 2-year break. Got the whole flight rig configured. Ooh. In fact, chat, what kind of peripherals are you working with? I know that we have some interesting sponsors here. In fact, well, let's have a look at them again. Today we'll be using TacView to keep an eye on the battle as it goes on, but I know that there are some people who swear by their Wing products. I know that there are VKB fans in the chat, and I know that there are plenty of people who are very excited about Verpil products as well. For me personally, I use a bit of a mix. I have a VKB stick that I have gotten fantastic use out of, a Verpil throttle that I've been getting excellent use out of, and a bit of everything, really. A TM1600 stick and keyboard. A perfect place to start. An affordable way of getting into the simulation environment. An X56 is all you need. I tell you what, the X56 is the first time you'll get proper access to all of the HOTAS buttons that you could want. So I think that it's a big improvement for someone getting started within the simulation scene. And it looks like we have GunGunGun beginning to occupy the server. You got yourself a Warthog set at half price. Ooh, and you're saving up for an F-16 throttle system. Ah, excellent. You're working that VKB to death. Oh, look. It's important to recognize that no matter how well a piece of equipment is made, it... Oh, and it looks like that we are getting GunGunGun into the server. No worries. Perfect. Verpil Wongi, stick and throttle. Triple monitor setup. Oh, I think if I use the triple monitor setup, my computer would explode. So that's okay. We have the map all set up. Shall we have a look? Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure you're all very familiar with this part of the world. It is the Caucasus, and today it is ice cold. This is one of my favorite matchups. The terrain down here is mountainous, plenty of places to hide from long-range shots on amongst these various hills and terrains. And with the cold weather as well, you can expect your engines to be performing fantastically. We'll have a look over at the red side to see how the 51st PVO is getting started. These are some names that you'll recognize: Techneticum, Black Pixel, JP1, Stinger, Zero Sum, all names that we've heard before with their fantastic 51st PVO liveries. 51st PVO, of course, a Soviet aviation regiment with some very, very interesting history. They have been flying for a very, very long time. It's Pixel, used to be in your armor group. It's interesting how our communities all kind of mix and match together. It's always very exciting. And have a look at these Su-33 camouflages as well. The Su-33 actually makes a good showing of itself within competitive DCS matches, as its high altitude performance is absolutely fantastic. And have a look at this camouflage. The limitations within SATAC mean that a maximum of 4 Fox 3 missiles can be brought, though with the inclusion of the Su-33s and Su-27s within this team, the Su-33s can only bring R-27ERs and ETs, no Fox 3 missiles. But they don't need them. If you've seen some of the shooting that they can do with these weapons, then I wouldn't second guess them. However, we do have some SD-10s on the wings of the Su-27s that we have showing up here. So some Fox 3 capability, they're not completely counting it out. And they'll get good use out of those missiles, though the R-27ER is not a weapon to be underestimated. On the blue side, we have 1969 GE-9X, Orster, and Macy J, spawned in at the moment, with more to come. We have an F-16, 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 and an F-15C, so an eclectic mix so far. Let's see what they're going with. For F-16s, it's quite common to see the ECM pods being taken. We'll give them their instructions. Excellent. Everyone's getting all of their equipment ready. The 33 doesn't get the SD-10? No, it's not capable of carrying it. We see the F-16s with the fairly common loadout of 4 AIM-120Cs and 2 AIM-9Ms. Of course, the AIM-9X is not permitted within SATAC. And the F-15C are deciding not to bring any Sparrows or additional AIM-9Ms. This is all about being light and ready for battle. Yes, sometimes the J11 is used as a stand-in for the Su-27 with upgraded capabilities, just so that you can get Fox 3 performance. With that having been said, I don't think that it matters too much, whereas in a pure numbers game, the performance of the two airframes is largely the same. We have a second J11 showing up. They're deciding to bring, now this is an interesting thing, the Su-27s are deciding to bring their ECM pods on the wingtips. Now, if you're not familiar with flying the Su-27, you may not be aware that when it comes to ECM on these planes, you can decide that on the wingtips you would like R-27ERs, or alternatively you can bring these ECM pods that add ECM capability onto the airframe. So it's a bit of a toss-up whether or not you would like an additional 2 short-range air-to-air missiles, or if you would like to bring the ECM capability. And it looks like the Su-33s have all made the same choice. So these ECM pods fitting on like a nice sleeve on the wingtips, and definitely providing a little bit of a tactical opportunity for the planes in question, as they can prevent lofting AIM-120C shots. Surprised that the J11s aren't bringing all 4 PL-12s. Now, this is when things are going to get interesting. The R-27ER is one of the fastest moving missiles within the entirety of DCS. Having had known the 51st PVO for as long as I have, I know their tactics. And if you fire an R-27ER at something like 40,000 feet, with a little bit of manual loft given to it, it will arrive at the target faster than any AIM-120C can even dream of going. So, even though it's a Fox 1, in a BVR fight, I think it gets severely underestimated. And you are potentially going to see what the repercussions of these missiles are. It is nasty when lofted, I couldn't agree more. We have the 51st beginning to move down to the runway. Black Pixel, JP1, Stinger, Zero Sum, Techniticum, and Trout Bum are leading the way. Let's go and have a look at how our friends are doing, and they are lining up on the runway. The F-16's leading the way, with the F-15 coming in behind. And have we got one more somewhere? Or have we only got 6? Tom and Jerry is taking a second F-15C, this time electing to bring 4 AIM-9Ms. This is going to be a very exciting match. If you had to put your money down on the table, which of these teams do you think that you would say are in here with a good chance? The 51st PVO have been flying together for quite some time and have plenty of experience. Though that being said, some people may think that they have a disadvantage flying older airframes compared to some of their fourth-generation Western brothers. Stream poll? Let's do it. There's a poll running on the stream right now about who you've got your money on for round one, the 51st PVO or GunGunGun. Seeing them strong last year, you will go with 51st. No worries. '51st is reporting ready, which means that they're probably nicely lined up on the runway. They do like to show off a little bit when it comes to their takeoffs and landings. This team prides itself on formation flying and high quality aviation performance in all regards, not just PvP combat, so we can expect some very, very good flying from these teams. The Su-33s are a high altitude monster, so I fully expect that we'll see these planes going absolutely stratospheric. The Su-27s as well, feeling perfectly at home within the Caucasus Mountains. Plenty of opportunity for them to use their helmet-mounted sights and excellent dogfighting modes. And high-performance R-73 short-range air-to-air missiles. Their skins are fantastic. Looks like we have a slight tinge towards the 51st PVO in the first round, but some GunGunGun supporters in chat as well, so... And I must remind you all, of course, that GunGunGun is a relatively new team, so be sure to cheer them on, no matter how things go for them. Because everyone who takes the time to participate in some competitive DCS is worthy of our praise. So, congratulations to everyone who has stuck their hands up to be a part of a competition like this. We couldn't do it without the involvement of everyone who's here. Looks like the 51st PVO has got a 71% has got a 71% slight bias within supporters in the chat. I'm not surprised, because the 51st PVO has been around for many, many years. And they have got plenty of a reputation. Both teams ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go, go, go. All right, it's time for takeoff. Let's see what these teams are capable of with round one of week 2, 51st PVO versus GunGunGun. We have Black Pixel and JP1 leading the way for the Sukhois. I wonder if they're using afterburners just yet. Let's have a look. No afterburners on takeoff. Of course, the capacity to bring external fuel tanks on the Sukhoi aircraft is limited, so they will have to keep a close eye on their fuel. So, how's this battle going to work? Well, let me explain to you. When one team occupies the central circle, they will begin a 5-minute countdown timer. If they are uncontested within this central circle for 5 minutes, they win. But with both teams being a relatively equal amount of distance away, it's more likely than not that they will be contested. Once it's contested, then you have to fight to the death, and whoever's left standing is left with the responsibility of not only winning, but also being able to make it back home and land at least one aircraft. So you've got to keep enough fuel in your plane to be able to make it back safely. GunGunGun being a relatively new team, not quite sporting any liveries just yet, but that's perfectly okay. Takes a little bit of time to get that sort of thing organised, and I'm sure as these guys cut their teeth within international competition, they will get themselves a reputation and style that we will come to recognise. How big is that circle? 56-mile radius? Well, let's have a look. From one end to the other, it is approximately 107 nautical miles, probably closer to 110 actually. So, plenty of space to fight. They'll probably be able to have some degree of detection once both teams enter the circle, though once they enter, it will probably take another minute or so before anyone gets within weapons engagement range. Let's have a look at these teams. Splitting off in the top is a helping hand in the F-15C, and Tom and Jerry heading south in the F-15C as the F-16s begin to push centrally, with Macy J, GE9X, ASCAR and Auster all heading down towards the central area. The 51st is splitting off into two distinct groups. We have the Su-33s. Oh, look at this. You see, sometimes they just show off. The Su-33s are forming one group, and the Su-27s are forming a second. 51st PVO. I'm not entirely sure if they come to these competitions to win or if they come here to show off. They have been flying together for decades from back in the lock-on days, and they practice everything, formation flying, air shows, and everything else to make sure that they not only win competitions, but they look good doing it. Of course, it's not only for the sake of looking good that they stick close to each other like this. Remember those ECM pods that I told you about? Well, those ECM pods, in combination with sticking in close formations, means that these planes can effectively hide amongst each other and disguise their numbers. This means that it can become a little bit difficult for a competing team to be able to tell exactly where everyone is, and you can see the Su-27s beginning to slot in behind one another. Most effective way to make sure that the ECM keeps them hidden. Look at these formations, isn't it ridiculous? Let's have another look at those Su-33s as they look handsome into the battle area. There are benefits and negatives towards planes like the Su-33. The Su-33 is an excellent high-altitude fighter, as it has excellent wingspan to be able to take advantage of thinner air, though at the same time it is the size of a building, which means that within a gunfight, should it come to that, and it certainly can, they run the risk of being a big target. Looks like Macy J is leading the vanguard for GunGunGun and will likely be the first one to enter the circle at 33,000 feet and climbing. And sure enough, the Blues have entered the battle area. They won't be able to take it just on time alone, with the 51st about to enter, crossing around about 32,000 feet, and they seem to be happy to stay there. So we'll see if they climb a little bit higher once they get within their engagement ranges, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see an Su-27 or Su-33 passing by 30,000 feet up to 40. Tom and Jerry is going far south at 40,000 feet, and Helping Hand is going north at 36,000 feet. Looks like a pincer maneuver is on the cards for the F-15Cs. The battle area is contested. That means we have a fight. Alright, the F-16s continue their charge down the central area. Current separation of about 90 nautical miles. Let's have a look at the terrain, because it's quite obvious that the 51st is enthusiastic to head into this mountainous area. If we have a look up, we might be able to see some contrails. Absolutely. Now, let's have a look as they get going. So this terrain down here, as we see the planes head along, is a little bit more desirable for the flankers as opposed to this flat section that goes through the center of the map. Through the middle here, they have plenty of mountains and terrain with which to mask themselves in case they get unexpected AIM-120C shots. Alright, current separation between the teams is 80 nautical miles. Plenty of space for both teams to start detecting each other and have a clue where each other are. The Su-33 formation has separated out into two distinct groups, separated by about 4 nautical miles. And they are absolutely hauling ass, going at 440 knots at an indicated airspeed at 38,000 feet. And sure enough, they are climbing up past 40,000 feet. Watch out for those long-range R-27ER shots. They will get you. Let's have a quick look at the TAC view just to have a look at the separation between these two teams. So, over here, we have Macy J leading the charge for the GunGunGun team, and it looks like JP1 and Black Pixel are going to be facing off with the first missile shots. Drop Tank's coming off a helping hand, who is flanking around all the way to the north, and looks like Tom and Jerry is happy to head very far out to the south. Current separation between the teams, the closest is GE9X and one of the groups of Su-33s at 40 nautical miles. I know from experience that this is well within the engagement range as they separate out into battle formation, the two Su-33s separating out a little bit. They are absolutely hauling ass. Let's have a look. We have our first R-27ER being launched, going at 2,200 knots. That is a long-range shot, and these missiles can go at absolute light speed. 3 more R-27ER shots coming along. GE9X has got one on them, an AIM-120C from Macy J. Look at these missiles. They're just rippling off the wings. Black Pixel is launching everything they've got and starting to turn downwards. GE9X with an R-27ER coming in to give them some trouble. Let's have a look at this missile and see what it decides to do. 900 knots, and it's gone stupid. Successfully defeated. What about Macy J, who has 2 R-27ERs going towards them? The AIM-120C heading towards Black Pixel is coming with ferocious intent. This missile looks like it's the deadliest, heading for Macy J. Has it got track? Doesn't look like it's maneuvering. It looks like they have successfully broken those locks. And we have an AIM-120C heading towards Black Pixel. Has it got enough speed to deal with this flanker in the sky? Let's have a look. It's beginning to wiggle. Means it's running out of speed, and it has not got the distance to make it work. Helping Hand is beginning to turn south as he realizes that he has 4 flankers all facing up on it. Looks like the first initial shots haven't necessarily found their targets. Okay. Next shots I expect will be coming from Zero Sum, who has launched off another R-27ER. A little bit of a manual loft going onto it as GE9X launches an AIM-120. Separation between these two pilots is only 10 nautical miles, so let's see who has got the stamina. Looks like this R-27ER still has track and is tracking the hostile target. Can he maintain the radar lock? Or is it going to go into terrain? Looks like it has no track. Have we lost anyone yet? No, it looks like everything's good, but Black Pixel has AIM-120Cs coming all over the place, but manages to just narrowly evade this AIM 120C that is absolutely flying in formation with them. Okay, let's have a look. Has anyone gone down yet? GE9X is right in the thick of things with planes all around. Contrails looking very intimidating at the moment. R27 ETs and ERs launched against GE9X, who's going to have a very difficult time of defeating that amount of ordnance coming towards them. And goes down. First loss for GunGunGun. Looks like JP1 might have been the one that secured that shot. R27 ERs, has this got any kind of track? Looks like it's going dumb. Have we still got both F-15s? Yes, Helping Hand and Tom and Jerry are still up, so we've only lost one F-16. R27 ER coming in down towards the southern group with plenty of speed. Is it tracking? Looks like it may have a clue on what it's going towards, but is losing speed with every passing moment. Macy J, if that was the target, I don't think would have been able to quite get away from it, but it looks like it's going towards Helping Hand. Short-range AIM 120C shots going towards Black Pixel, who's going to rely on terrain masking to be able to get away from these. But the question is it enough? The air down here is desperately thick. It's coming closer. It's coming closer. Pulling some shapes will deal with that missile, which... Oh no! A controlled flight into terrain. Black Pixel accidentally fears the missile to such an extent that he hits the ground. Now it's even Stevens between both teams, and no clear advantage on either side. Zero Sum is leading the vanguard at 20,000 feet, but with not too many missiles to show for it. R27 ERs, only one left, and one ET as well. We'll be looking to make some kind of impact with that ordnance. The R27 ER's not looking so good. Helping Hand launches a AIM 120C, has one left, and is at 40,000 feet. SD-10s and R27 E-10s coming off the wings for the Su-27s. This AIM 120C, I'm not entirely sure who it's tracking, may well be Techneticum. This SD-10 with plenty of speed heading towards Helping Hand, and hits. Helping Hand goes down, unlucky. Macy J has got 3 separate missiles heading for them and is potentially in serious trouble. Meanwhile, we have an AIM 120C for Trout Bum. It impacts. Macy J, can you defeat the incoming missiles? Unbelievable these teams are sticking right next to each other. Macy J with missiles all over them, but do they have track? That's the question. They are right next to each other. We are watching a merge between Macy J and one of the flankers well within visual range. Current separation is only 3 nautical miles. Short range R73 shot coming off the wings from Zero Sum, who is well and truly within engagement range, and it impacts. Situation awareness not doing them any favours. It is currently 4 against 2, with Tom and Jerry and Auster currently leading the charge. JP1 at low altitude, facing off against the F-15C. Realizes that with this altitude disadvantage, it's not necessarily a winning game. Currently, the highest of all of the 51st is Techneticum, who is at 10,000 feet. Tom and Jerry has R27 ERs launched against them. We'll have plenty of warning that those missiles are coming in, but short to make some kind of maneuvering, because currently getting pincered by all kinds of planes, and we have this Su-33 heading up towards him with only R-73s left. They are well within shooting range. JP1, can you get within the NES? But JP1 Auster comes in with support. This AIM-120C is going to be difficult to evade, and it hits. Perfect support, as Tom and Jerry has an R27ER to contend with, and it impacts. We have 1 versus 3. Auster at high altitude facing off against Zero Sum. Stinger fires an R73 against a target that's long since dead. Planes falling out of the sky in all directions, Zero Sum and Stinger passing over the top of each other. Quick handshake as they decide what to do about this last remaining F-16C. Techneticum is up in the top area with both ETs still on the wings. Auster, with a massive altitude advantage, is just flying all around these flankers. Do they know where he is? Stinger and Zero Sum say, let's go deal with this guy. Stinger has no missiles left and is going to be resorting for the gun. Zero Sum has 1 R73. So these two flankers, despite being right next to the target, have basically one heat seeker amongst them and are down to guns. Techneticum with the R27 ETs, the only ones with any kind of real reach out and touch them performance. Meanwhile, Auster has AIM-120Cs on the wings. This is not a done deal just yet. This might come down to fuel if they're not careful. Hiding in amongst the terrain, the AWACS is probably having trouble seeing them. We can see that Techneticum probably has some kind of track towards our friend in the F-16. Shall we see an R-27ET launch using that electro-optical sight to get some kind of track against Auster, who is dropping down altitude, relying on the terrain to provide some kind of disguise? Probably should have turned off the external lights, but never mind. Turning in for some kind of missile launch, and we can see just up on the top left an ET launch. Auster, you have to start evading. No, unfortunate. And this missile impacts Techneticum. The two remaining Su-27, Stinger and Zero Sum, left with the inevitable choice of having to return to base and secure the win, if they can, for the 51st PVO. I've been handed over some very interesting statistics from AlphaGator, who is kindly helping us organize this event and helping with the server hosting on the SPQR servers. In total, there have been 275 AIM-120Cs shot during this event and 32 hits, with a hit percentage chance of 11.6. Now here's the question. Can you guess which missile has the highest hit percentage throughout SATAC so far? I guarantee you it will not be what you expect. Let's go have a look at the TAC view and see how this all played out. We see the initial R-27ER shots, particularly towards Helping Hand, going out. The AIM-9M, you're close, but not quite. Helping Hand, I think, managing to launch off the AIM-120Cs, which looks like it may well have distracted, and some countermeasures absolutely dumping out. Perhaps the R-73. Close, but no cigar. R-27ERs either falling for the chaff or just broken lock, causing that to not quite connect. The missile with the highest hit rate within SATAC so far is the PL-5E2, which has a hit rate of 70% with 10 fired and 7 hits. Now this is an absolute tangle over here. Look at this missile. The AIM-120Cs have a bit of a bad habit of freaking out when they get to low speeds, so Black Pixel, I think, got a bit lucky with this AIM-120C just going absolutely psycho in terms of its tracking. Nerf the Jeff. No, but the problem is that the PL5 E2 sucks. GE9X and Zero Sum forming a joust between both of them. Of course, the AIM-120C, you don't need to keep a radar lock to keep that thing going. Meanwhile, Zero Sum turns cold, and I reckon this ER is probably dead in the water. Macy J using up all of that countermeasures. No point dying with them. Black Pixel getting very lucky with getting away from this missile here. This AIM-120C with plenty of speed. This is the one that we were watching throughout the event. But with just a little bit of countermeasures and a little bit of maneuvering, you can very slightly outspeed the AIM-120C, which goes haywire. But let's see if we can see that CFIT that happened. Was it Black Pixel that, yeah, okay. So this is where it all went wrong, and I think Black Pixel is going to be called into a meeting about this one. Turning cold with the AIM-120Cs of Macy J coming in. Let's see. Going low and quite fast. Going evasive against the AIM-120C that's coming in. Airspeed of nearly 700. Turns slightly too hard. And just doesn't have time to pull up. That is unlucky. I mean, if you've got an AIM-120C coming in behind you, I can understand the panic, but that looks like it's just a little bit of pilot error, unfortunately. Bang. AIM-120C might have connected anyway. Meanwhile, the fight continues. Stinger, Zero Sum, Trout Burn. The fact that a helping hand can get this close to the formation of 51st PVO and almost be launching off AIM-120Cs with alacrity, and a long-range AIM-120C shot towards Troutburn, who just isn't reacting quickly enough because they are going high to try and intercept these higher up targets for GunGunGun. He was chasing Tom and Jerry but wasn't paying attention. Tom and Jerry getting the effective support from his teammates, and with an R-27ER in flight, but the plane responsible for launching it well and truly in the dirt, that missile is no threat. Ascar gets a little bit too close here and catches a missile from Stinger. Let's see. Closing in against Techneticum and Stinger simultaneously. An ET launch, so you may well not have gotten any launch warning against that. No flares going out, so it was probably just a case of, I don't know what's going on. That electro-optical sight is not to be underestimated. And Macy J cruising around at a low altitude. R-73 shot. Impacts from Zero Sum, another electro-optical impact. And that is all she wrote, except we still have Trout Bum going over here to come and support Tom and Jerry. Tom and Jerry with an R-27ER, difficult missile to evade, turns directly into it. That was a unfortunate mistake. I think seeing that they had defeated this R-27ER, thought that maybe there wasn't another one coming. But turning back in to turn hot and realizing that that R-27ER is still coming. That's the thing about those flankers. They have plenty of pylons to be able to get away with it. And we see Troutburn. And I hear the sounds of a flanker engine beginning to slow down. Hopefully they're not running out of fuel. But we'll watch Troutburn's valiant final defense. Of course, we know that Stinger and Zero Sum had nothing in the way of missiles left to go. Techneticum with the R27 ETs left to finish the job, launching an ET, both ETs, both at once. One of them has no track, the other one impacts, and then an AIM-9M just to seal the deal. What a good fight. Meanwhile, we have Stinger leading the way. Both pilots looking like they will have the fuel to make it back. But they went up with 6 and came back with 2, so no need to underestimate. GunGunGun in their first ever competitive DCS match, scoring 4 kills. What do you think, guys? What's your takeaway from that event? I think that the amount of missiles that the Su-33 carries is one of its saving graces, though with that being said, we ended up in a situation at the end where the only person with effective missiles left was Techneticum with the ETs, and one of the Splinter group with one R-73, which is not necessarily the kind of situation you want to find yourself in when you're facing off against one of the last remaining F-16s, which still has 2 AIM-120Cs. You got games on your phone? I'm just admiring these 51st PVO skins, which look absolutely fantastic. Are the missiles acting as they should? Well, it's a simulation game, and lots of the information about weapons like the AIM-120C is classified, so it's essentially an approximation of the performance of missiles. Properly flown, the side with the most missiles will win unless mistakes are made. Interesting, interesting, interesting. It'll be interesting to see what the impact of ECM was against GunGunGun, as it does affect the ability for AIM-120Cs to loft. Are they as accurate as they should be, and are they as easy to evade in real life as they are here? Rumrunner, it's difficult to say. Truth be told, when it comes to modern jets, I don't think we know. But we can guess, and with the guesses that we can make from the information we have, the performance of these missiles is... ugh, who knows? It's a simulation game, and we're not in SATAC all about worrying about what is the most realistic. It's about winning with the tools that exist within the sim itself. So if one missile within DCS world works better than another missile, then go ahead and use that missile. It's not about being realistic, it's about winning the match, and you can use any of the tools at your disposal to do it. That's an interesting point, Jack, and I think the decision is ultimately that, once again, it's not about realism, it's about what you have access to. And the J11s within the game have access to the SD10s, and to that extent, with the 51st PVO electing to fly flankers and repainting the J11s to look like flankers so that they can use the R77s, they also get access to the SD10s. So, within the rules, it's perfectly reasonable. Is it realistic? Well, potentially not. But this isn't a realism match. This is about proving your mettle within PvP DCS, and that's that. There are 2 flankers left 2 flankers, and they have secured the match. There we go. The 51st PVO securing the first round. And me messing up the scoreboard. Classic. Sounds like a cop-out? Well, I think the fundamental idea of the event is really just to see who wins in a pure PvP environment. And to that extent, people are allowed to use what they like. But if you have feedback, I'm sure that within the 51st PVO's Discord, they would be more than willing to hear it. And also, let me just make sure that the announcement for the 51st PVO's information are turned on the stream, and they will be. If you have feedback for the organisers of SATAC, feel free to voice it to them within the SATAC Discord. Do you guys do historic type matches as well as melting pot types? Well, SATAC itself is not a historic event, but there are historic events for DCS. I know that I have been talking with a few people about potentially organising a SATAC style event that occurs within the rule set of something like Enigma's Cold War with MiG-21s and F-5s and all that sort of thing. We'll see what happens, but I think that the world of DCS is definitely expanding past the point of us just fighting in 4th generation aircraft to see who's the best. I'd love to see who's the best in a Korean War scenario or something like that. But there are plenty of events within DCS that are organised by plenty of organisers. SATAC itself is organised by the 51st PVO. And they decide on their own rule sets. Though with that being said, if you should want to host some kind of DCS competitive tournament, there'll be plenty of people who are interested. These teams are all full of familiar... oh my goodness, let's have another go. Familiar names, all of whom exist and support the DCS community in a wide variety of ways. That's fair enough, Jack. I guess you would have to ask Tech. In fact, maybe after the matches end, in the interviews at the end, I'll ask what made them choose the SD-10. And there we have the Su-33 of Zero Sum landing. I'll give the instruction to restart the server, and we will prepare for the next round. Congratulations to the 51st PVO on securing their first win within the SATAC event. As we see that Stinger is all shut down, probably without a drop of fuel left in the environment. And Zero Sum is just gently taxiing away. The mission will be restarted within 2 minutes. So if you would like to stand up, stretch your legs, get yourself a drink, I know I need a drink of water, we will be back shortly. Alright guys, congratulations to the 51st PVO on winning the first round. Let's get ready for round 2. Alright guys, have you got yourself a drink and stretch your legs? Because we're going to be getting ready for round 2. I understand your feedback, Jack. Unfortunately, the rules are entirely out of my control, as all I'm left with is a screen to watch and a match to cast. So, we'll keep our eyes out for round 2 of SATAC as the teams switch sides. You want some pizza? Oh, I would love some pizza. Well, I hope you guys are enjoying yourselves, and even though this event isn't about me, please let me say thank you for all the follows that we've received. Chaos Racing, Vaz Raptor, Hera Nissi, I Can't Stop Changing My Name, Amarok DCS, Domin Roki, Sakri Droog, and Squidman, thank you very much for the follows. I hope you're all enjoying yourselves as much as I am. And here we have the match with both sides switching over. Oh, the full fidelity MiG-19, I think, is going to be a very, very exciting addition to the DCS environment. MiG-29, rather, not 19. We've already got a full fidelity MiG-19. Alright, there's a new poll up for round 2. Who's your money on? The 51st PVO or GunGunGun? That was one of the closest matches we've had in the tournament so far. So I think that we have got some real excitement on our hands as the flankers begin arming themselves with all kinds of weaponry. Meanwhile, on the blue side, we have the 51st starting up, and on the red side, we should hopefully be getting GunGunGun spawning in soon. Now, if you guys were competing within SATAC, what would you fly? What would be your airframe of choice? If you had to fly the plane that you were just absolute best at, looks like the 51st PVO is the favourite to win round 2, but only by the thinnest of margins. The MiG-21? Yeah, I think that I would fly the MiG-21 because I know I'm going to get smoked one way or the other. JF-17, a popular choice. We had, what was the first team that we had? It was ETF. Was it ETF that flew JF-17s? Your bed? Look at them. They even taxi in sync. That's right, it was ETF, Eclipse Task Force, that flew the JF-17s. And they made an absolute ruckus with them. A10C. Could you imagine a SATAC that incorporated ground targets, where not only did you have to fly to defeat the enemy, but you could score additional points by engaging ground targets as well? I think we'll see more use of the F-15E once it gets its data link. I think that the F-15E has not been as popular as the F-15C, as the F-15C is kind of perceived as being a little bit faster, but I'm not entirely sure. SU-33 for pure mark numbers, data link is for, well, that's true. I've always maintained the attitude that if you can't fly without data link, then you don't deserve to have it. And of course, the ETF managed to do a fearsome showing of themselves as they flew their JF-17s without functional data link. The F-16s lining up with the same loadout they had before. The conformal fuel tanks on the F-15E can be taken off, certainly, but they're not meant to be, or at least they aren't, almost ever. Meanwhile, we have the F-15Cs being armed up. Interesting choice electing not to take the Sparrows. For me personally, I probably would take them just because you've got the pylons for it. Data link is allowed, yes, within the initial matches. So these matches that are the best of threes that happen within the initial phases of SATAC uses data link. However, once we get into the knockout rounds, it is expected that the teams will bring their own GCI, and using lot ATC will be relying on the callouts of their teammates. You only need one tank on an F-15E? Yeah, sometimes when it comes to bringing external fuel, some people prefer the twin bags, and some people prefer the singles on the centerline. For me personally, if I was taking the C, I'd probably bring double wing. And if I was taking the E, I probably would take a single centerline. But then again, what do I know about anything? JF-17Cs get the full HMD. Oh, if only we got a HMD on the JF-17, that thing would be unstoppable. The F-14, yeah. Unfortunately, the practical effectiveness of the AIM-54C Phoenix within a SATAC environment can be a bit limited. We have seen some usage of it, but not too much. So I'm waiting for a team to bring us an F-14 and show us what they can do with it. But as of yet, no such luck. And in fact, last year, we had one team bring along a MiG-29 as well. Not entirely sure why, but it was fun. I believe the F-14s do still need a human Rio, but I might need to double check that actually. I may just be talking out of my arse, so please forgive me if I'm just squeezing out incorrect information. give them style points. The 51st have spent some of their fuel, and these haven't even taxied yet. It's not fair. Once you're on the runway, you are more than welcome to refuel your planes. Some of the teams do decide to wait until they've taxied to put their bags on their aircraft. So, no doubt, as the 51st is sitting here, if they've used any of their fuel while they're taxiing, they will probably refuel before they check in. Very standard, and of course when you're just sitting here with the engines on, you use next to no fuel. So don't you worry, Ruby. They've got all the fuel they need. Meanwhile, we have GunGunGun taxiing. It's around 2% to taxi. Well, once you get to the runway, you can top yourself up. Well, the important thing to remember, Hex, as well, is that enormous amount of internal fuel that the Su-27s can carry with them. The fuel gauge on the 33. How long has that bug existed for? What, like 2 years? 3? So how are you guys enjoying the streams, and how are you enjoying SATAC as a whole? If you've got any feedback about my performance, please feel free to let me know. Of course, I am just here to commentate and show you SATAC. It is the wonderful organisers of the 51st and SPQR providing the servers that do all of the hard work. I'm just here to watch. Where are F-15s? Come on, Neela. Come on, helping hand. It's time you guys got moving. Your accent is very relaxing. Well, I appreciate that. Want to create a team for next year? Video game pilot, have you seen me fly? I'm terrible at it. I'm not a good pilot, I'm just enthusiastic. Maybe if they did a SATAC where I could bring the MiG-21, then I'd stand a chance, but until then, it's 4th generation stuff. Ugh. Just don't land. Yeah, if I'm the last one left on the team, and it's my job to land and win the match, forget about it. Are you guys excited for some of the upcoming modules we have this year? I cannot wait for the MiG-23, and I cannot wait for the F4. I'm sitting here bouncing up and down in my chair. Is a belly land a landing? Yeah, I'd say so. So long as you don't explode and you're not dead, then I'd say you're doing fine. My day's going fantastic. All the better to watch these amazing air-to-air combat champions take to the skies. Oh, the Peace Pearl. Oh, I cannot. I'm excited for the Peace Pearl. That'll be a day one for me. The 17F? Oh, yeah. That'll be exciting. The Eurofighter will be interesting too. We'll probably see it in SATAC. Oh, I can sympathize with that. Looks like both teams are looking good. You're just here for the fight? Well, fantastic. Alright. Looks like we'll get GunGunGun saying they're ready spaghetti in just 1 second, so let's get ready to watch the takeoff. 9Ms on the wingtips. Look, we can't ask questions about why people put 9Ms on the wingtips. I know it's not natural, I know it's not correct. Both teams are ready. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go, go, go. And it's time to take off for round 2. Look, you can put 9Ms on the wingtips if you want to, okay? It's perfectly fine, alright? It's not illegal, it's just wrong. And we have both teams up in the air. 51st versus GunGunGun. I'm excited for this one. The first match was as close as it gets. Will we see the 51st deciding to go through the mountainous area in the north? I'm pretty certain of it. They like this terrain to be able to take advantage of terrain masking to get away from those pesky AIM-120Cs. Both teams equipped with a Boeing E-3 Sentry. Great big mushroom on the top. Spinning disc, looking good. I ask that if possible, keeping the chat in English would be fantastic. But I understand that we have fans and viewers from all throughout the world, so no dramas if you are not able. And we see the Su-33s form their immaculate formation. Like I said, they just like to show off. Look at this. Thank you, Anu. And yeah, it was fantastic. That formation of Su-33s looking good, and the J-11s also paired up. But there's only 2 of them. Meanwhile, on the western side, we have a thorough spread happening in amongst the crews of GunGunGun. Looks like the F-16s are spreading out just a little bit. Same tactic as last time, the F-15Cs going north and south and climbing to altitude. When you've got as much fuel as these planes do, why wouldn't you? Well, for a SATAC trailer video, are you guys familiar with last year? We had that wonderful video coming from Adrian Capazzo, who makes spectacular, absolutely spectacular DCS cinematic videos. There is another one coming for SATAC 2023. Adrian's been under enormous pressure and demand with plenty of projects to work on, but he is working on a SATAC 2023 trailer, which we should have very shortly. Yes, the reason it's SATAC 2023 is that during the course of the pandemic, a year had to be skipped. So we're still catching up. Is wake turbulence on? I'm not sure, actually, but I think it probably is, yes. We can hear those Su-33s breaking the sound barrier. Let's listen. Bang, 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 bang. There they go. Looking good and in tight formation. ECM pods on the wingtips probably banging away. And it looks like it might be GunGunGun that enters the circle first. When will SATAC catch up a year to end this confusion? Well, who knows? I don't organise the event, I just cast it. And I do my best when I can. The sound barrier is no obstacle for a plane at 30,000 feet. The Su-33 group is hanging at 27,000 feet, and the J-11s are at 31,000 feet. Meanwhile, the F-15s for GunGunGun are at 43,000 feet and 38,000 feet, respectively, with the F-16s cruising between 35 and 26. Interesting missile config for Neela. Yeah, in fact, that is curious. Do you reckon that there is a choice being made here? I still don't understand why they don't bring the Sparrows, but everyone's got their reasons. Please also, everyone in chat, say thank you to AlphaGator for also providing us with excellent support for our service and helping me out with casting this stream. Let's have a look at the TAC view and see what we're looking at. So, we're seeing a very tight group of 2 groups of flankers heading in through the circle. Meanwhile, we just have quite a firm battle line with the F-15s forming the northern and southern vanguard as the F-16s begin to spread out. Very well organized as well, so these teams taking entirely different strategies when it comes to handling entering the battle area. Meanwhile, look at these Su-33s. They're so close they can probably reach out and touch each other. Current separation between the teams is approximately 77 nautical miles, probably starting to get their first detections of one another. The battle area being contested by both teams, with Black Pixel leading the vanguard for the Su-33s, one of which is breaking off and going lower, and 3 of them sticking together. Freshwater, it's just in the name of fairness, so both teams get exactly the same AWACS, so that just in case there's any kind of discrepancy between the effectiveness of AWACS of both teams, they get exactly the same one. I don't know if there's actually any difference between the A50 and the E3 in terms of performance in game, but just to erase any confusion. The Su-33s are turning in and going hot against each other. The current separation between both teams is about 50 nautical miles and reducing with every passing second. We should see missiles off the wings very shortly, with the 51st PVO spreading out into battle formation and breaking the sound barrier as they go. Plenty of fuel being spent here. Helping Hand is looking very lonely down in the south and is quickly going to realise that it's time to turn north and start flanking around. It looks like we have an R-27ER launch at very long range, happening at around about 40,000 feet, going moderately fast. 3 R-27ERs off the wingtips now. Current separation is approximately 40 nautical miles. Very, very long-range shots. That's a lot of missiles to be shooting off at this kind of range. Plenty of warning will be given and received by the pilots to which these missiles are heading towards. Macy J looks to be the target of several of them and is not quite reacting just yet. Better be careful, you can't afford to get complacent. These missiles do move quite fast. AIM-120Cs coming off from Tom and Jerry, heading towards the central group, and an ER heading towards Ascar, who's turning cold, and will quite comfortably defeat that. R-27ER coming in towards Macy J. Macy, have you potentially gotten a little bit too calm about this? Streaking past it. Okay. What about this one? Has this still got track? Macy J, oh no! Macy J goes down with a long-range R-27ER launch. Asgard defeating the R-27ER and SD-10 coming off the wings from Techneticum. They managed to secure a kill with all of those R-27ER launches. AIM-120Cs being launched by Helping Hand in response to Black Pixel's R-27ETs. Hopefully Helping Hand has the common sense to be able to understand that those missiles are a threat. Asgard going cold against the SD-10s. I doubt that that thing will have the reach to go and deal with anything. Home on jam, no warning. Oh, good point. Good point. Thank you. ERs are a menace. They are fast missiles, and you have got to be careful. GE-9X is beginning to potentially notch this ER, but it's got some speed and it's got some altitude. GE-9X, come on, be careful. Don't fly into it. It's going 800 knots, but it's losing speed quickly. Looks like it's not going to connect, but it got dangerously close. Data link, please work. From in a J11. Not looking so good. R-27ET launch against GE-9X in the northern group. AIM-120Cs being launched off the wings. Looks like we lost someone in the southern group, but I didn't see that. Datalink, please work, going down from an AIM-120C shot. Golly, we'll check that out in the TAC view to see what happened. All right, it is currently 4v5, and is still anyone's match. 2 AIM-120Cs coming out. Techneticum launches an R-27ER. Home on jam shot potentially, still tracking. Neela, you've got to be careful here. Don't get complacent. Neela gets blown up in the sky. Not quite paying attention to the potential of those home on jam shots. We've got 2 AIM-120Cs heading in for Black Pixel, who is pulling all kinds of shapes to try and get away. They may not have the speed to connect. Those home on jam shots are nothing to snub your nose at. Helping Hand and GE-9X closing in with Zero Sum, who launches a R-27ER in response. At close range, going lightning fast, it is currently 2v5. AIM-120C is coming in towards Zero Sum, who's going to have to work very hard to try and evade these, relying on the ground clutter to potentially distract these missiles. Zero Sum goes down, and once again I look in the wrong direction just at the right time to miss a missile, and that one, oh, I don't know if you guys saw that on stream, but it missed him by inches. R27ET coming in towards Helping Hand, but spoofed by the flares. Another launch of an ET from Black Pixel coming in towards Helping Hand, who is desperately distracted. Helping Hand dodges that by inches. Oh my god, this is dead close. Missiles coming off the wings, and they've merged as close as you can get. Oh my god, both of them spoofing the R-73s, and AIM-9Ms, and an impact takes them out. Techneticum looks like has the last moment of success. Missiles coming in towards GE-9X, who is just pulling shapes, has AIM-9Ms left, and that's it. And the noose of the 51st, who have lost another pilot, begins to tighten. Black Pixel says, I've got missiles, and I am here to finish this fight. GE-9X in serious trouble here, but let's see if they can make a showing of themselves for one last match. The 51st PVO is a fearsome team. They've been flying together for a very long time, so never underestimate their abilities in their beloved plane of choice. As we watch GE-9X turn in hot, missiles coming in, AIM-9Ms, both of them launched, and unfortunately get smacked. And those AIM-9Ms, Black Pixel, are you going to be able to get away? Looks like Black Pixel gets lucky. With 4 members left, the 51st PVO looks a little bit more comfortable than they did in their first match. 51st is the more experienced team. That is very much the case. But I think we can all say that GunGunGun gave them a real run for their money. Let's have a look at the TAC view and see what happened, because we can only look at one thing at a time, but there's plenty of fight that was happening while we were going. Let's have a look at what happens with Helping Hand. Helping Hand with the potentially home on jam R27ERs being launched. Launching AIM-120Cs towards the central group. Of course, AIM-120C is in a bit of a troubling state when it comes to dealing with ground clutter and all the rest. 51st has been around for more than a decade, that's for sure. Helping Hand going cold, realizing that there's missiles all over the place. Now here's where things get spicy. Helping Hand launching missiles directly downwards towards Zero Sum, who's relying on the ground clutter amongst the water to potentially disguise against these missiles, and that is not going to be enough. Zero Sum, that's where he went down. AIM-120C shot. Look at this. This is just unlucky. The proximity fusing of the AIM-120C just not quite doing it. JP1 could have easily ended up in the dirt just then, and who knows what that might have changed for the match. Dumping out chaff, exactly what you do when you think I've potentially made a mistake here. R27ET, but plenty of flares going out. R27ET is quite susceptible to flares, so dumping those out will quite comfortably deflect that missile. Another ET going out. Now here's an electro-optical launch, and Helping Hand just... oh, God! I don't think Helping Hand even knew it was there. I think Helping Hand just outmaneuvered it. AIM-9s being launched in massive quantity. Flares being dumped out. Oh my God, look at this. Okay, let's go have a look at Helping Hand from the pilot's perspective as he turns in and knows exactly what's going on. Turning in towards Black Pixel, AIM 9M off the wings, another AIM 9M, dumping flares everywhere, so is Black Pixel. That's a merge, neither missile connects, starts turning away, and just ends up being dealt with. This is the importance of teamwork as Techneticum comes in for the support of this buddy with an ET launch. Amazing that it didn't quite get spoofed by the flares. Oh, the first one did. The SD-10, though, not necessarily bothered by the flares. And there we go. Helping Hand goes down. Good fighting. So that's what happened to Helping Hand. Who was the other one that we missed? I think that we missed a 51st PVO shoot down. And I think it was Datalink Please Work. Yeah, here we go. So Datalink Please Work merging up with GE9X. Let's see. GE9X over here. The two of them know each other. They're there. Heading at decent speed, Mach 1.2. Or rather, at 1.2 Gs. Launches an R27ET as GE9X is defending against an ER, but has already launched an AIM-120C in response. A curious lack of reaction even once it goes active, but it connects. Oopsie doopsies. All right, what else have we got here? Black Pixel with two AIM-120Cs coming in, turning basically in towards them. They've got the speed, but this is what it means to have confidence in your abilities. That is about as narrow as dodges get. Oh, that's okay, Trout Bum, no worries. Had to go AFK. Oh, no. Well, that's the thing about being simulation pilots, I guess, is that we have to skedaddle sometimes. Zero Sum launching upwards, Helping Hand launching downwards, and Zero Sum gets smoked. Meanwhile, this merge, unbelievable that Helping Hand managed to get this close. I love it when the merges get lightning close, but unfortunately Techneticum is there to help the buddy. And it is just cleanup time for GE9X, the last bastion of GunGunGun. Can I get a cheer in chat, though, for GunGunGun for doing such an excellent job of their first SATAC match and demonstrating their ability? I think they gave 51st a good run for their money, and I think they should be very proud of their performance. They did do well, and a battered and bruised 51st PVO, after a hard-fought match, begins heading back towards the runway. And of course, there's always time for a little bit of formation flying. Oh, I see. It's show-off time. Well, the 51st trains hard. They organize this event. They fly the flanker. They are here because they love it. And they love to compete. And I think that that is all we can ask for any team within a competitive DCS event as they start to form up on Stinger. Thank you very much, Gator, and thank you very much for the follow, Salty's Vaults. I hope you guys are enjoying the coverage of SATAC. It will continue. Tomorrow we have 2 more SATAC matches. In fact, let's have a look at who we've got. So, on February, Sunday the 4th, we have InSky versus Snake. Very experienced team going up against Snake. A new one for me. And then we have 08 Esquadron de Combat versus Lock On Greece Competitive. I'm really excited for that match as well. I'll be casting both of them. One of them will be at 1300 Zulu, so the same time that this stream went live. And one of them will be at 1600 Zulu. In fact, if you go off the time it is now, it'll be about an hour and 15 minutes from now, tomorrow. But stick around to watch the 51st PVO go and gently land their jets after a hard-fought battle. Thank you, Freshwater. I appreciate that. I'm happy to support all of SATAC events. My name is Airshow. I am a aviation VTuber that mostly streams myself playing DCS and engaging with all kinds of events and flight simulation relevant content. I hope you enjoy it very much. And we have WTF versus DDCS. Let's get a shout out for Plasma, who will be hosting that event in about 20 minutes. Let's see. So if you're looking for the next event, then Plasma 1945 will be hosting the next one, which will be in about 17 minutes. While we're waiting for everyone to show up, let's see if we can get anyone from GunGunGun to show up for an interview. Look at those beautiful air brakes going out above the formation landing of the 51st PVO. I say that they have probably safely got themselves back home. They even drop their gear in synchronization. This is just absurd. Unbelievable. Are we going for a 3-ship formation landing? Let's see if they can pull it off. Well, I don't know, Hex. Maybe they read who was streaming and they and they decided that If Airshow's streaming, they better put one on. Formation landings for the F-51st PVO. Looking gorgeous. And there we have it. They secure round 2. Best of 3, so that concludes it for today. Let's see what the rest of their team has to show for it. Maybe we'll get a little bit of a Cobra maneuver. Meanwhile, coming in for landing, we have JP1. Nothing fancy. Settling it down nicely. Perfect. And Techneticum, of course it's Tech. Of course Techneticum is doing the show-off routine. Come on, Tech, give us a Cobra landing. I've seen you do it before. Just going plain and simple, I think. Gritty flanker. I know. Yeah. Gorgeous. Textbook. What more could you want? 51st PVO. Landing in formation and looking absolutely gorgeous. Well done, 51st PVO, on securing the win. As the jets begin to taxi away, hopefully someone will come and talk to me. I'm feeling very lonely. Look, they're even retracting their air brakes in sync. See, that's just frustrating. How can any group be so organized? Alright, fingers crossed we get someone to talk to me soon, or else I'm going to look very silly. A big thank you for everyone who's shown up to watch and engage with the SATAC stream so far. There's plenty more of it to come. And the 51st PVO shuts down their engines and begins to relax after a hard-fought battle. Support today provided by the Boeing E-3 Sentry. Over the course of this Caucasus battlefield. It's always interesting watching, the way that the battlefield develops as they surprise me by changing the server. Let's see. Okay, who have we got here? Hello and welcome in. Who am I talking to?
How are you doing? Hey.
Hello.
Hello, Stinger. Hello. And I apologize. The streamer overlay means that I can't see your name just at the moment. Starts with a G.
Yep.
And are you from GunGunGun?
Yeah.
No worries. And your name?
G9X.
G9X. Oh, well, fantastic flying during that event. Well done. You were the last one left on the second round. GunGunGun being a relatively new team, how did you find the experience of SATAC so far?
It's pretty good. Yeah. It's it's mostly organized by Tom and Jerry, so I just do what she tells me to do. Yep.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And you guys, I think, did absolutely astonishingly well, considering the first round was right down to the wire. You knew that you were going up against the 51st, which flies flankers. What were your tactics going into dealing with a Russian airframe?
I don't think there's much tactics on our side. We just do whatever we think are the best moves for us. Yeah.
Fantastic. Yeah. And whereabouts does most of your team originate from?
Taiwan.
Fantastic. Well, congratulations to you and all of your teammates. Well done. We have Stinger from the 51st here as well. If you guys at GunGunGun have anything you'd like to say to your opponents, or any shout-outs you'd like to make to your team or your teammates or anyone else, feel free to go ahead.
I think
no, that's okay.
I'll get someone else in here.
No, that's okay. Don't worry at all. Don't worry at all. Amazing flying and very, very well done, G9X. Congratulations. I can't wait to see how you guys go in the competition to come. Stinger, well done. How's the 51st feeling?
Feeling great. It went well. Want to thank GunGunGun team for participating. Our sponsors as well, and just wanted to mention that because of some teams had some issues staying in a competition, we do have one more slot available, so just wanted to put it out there.
Well, there you go, guys. If you have watched Well, there you go, guys. If you have watched SATAC and you think, well, I can do that, there's a slot waiting for you. Go gather up 6 of your mates and see if you've got what it takes to come and join the competition. Stinger, you came up against GunGunGun. Have you interacted with this team before?
No, we had no intel on them, so we just didn't know what to expect, really.
Amazing. And GunGunGun, did you watch any 51st matches before you came and faced off with them?
Hello. Not me personally, but I think Tom and Jerry did watch a few of their matches, and he also worked with InSky, which I think is also a very experienced team. Yeah.
And I saw that you guys had an InSky member with you filling in.
Yeah.
Excuse me, guys. You are recording or not?
We are at the moment. We're just about to finish.
Okay. I'm sorry, and thank you.
No worries. Good luck in your match. All right.
Yeah, but I'm asked the server information.
All right. I'll make sure AlphaGator gets that to you. Okay.
Thank you. And
all right, guys. Well, Stinger and GunGunGun, good luck in your future matches. Thank you very much for participating today. I hope that you had lots of good fun, and I look forward to seeing how you go in the rest of the competition. Good luck.
Thanks. Thank you for hosting the match.
It's my it's my sincere pleasure. All right, guys. Good luck.
See you.
All right, guys. Well, that's it for me. I'm going to hand you guys over. Well, I was going to hand you guys over to Plasma, but I don't think Plasma is live just yet. So if you guys have had good fun, thank you for all of the follows in engagement. Sunny Jet, congratulations on the flights. Well done in the competition. Omega 38K as well. You were flying too and part of GunGunGun. Well done. I hope you all had lots and lots of good fun. And I am going to close off here. The SATAC Discord is there for all of your SATAC needs. And you can always come and join in on my community, an aviation-centric flight simulation community where everyone is welcome. To keep up to date with everything I'm up to, you can always follow me on Twitter as well. All right, guys, I'm going to sign off here. Congratulations to both teams for competing, and I look forward to seeing you all soon. All right, bye-bye.